saints can pray me out and then I'll end up being in heaven. Now, it doesn't work like that. The only way you're going to get to heaven is God got to take you there. And there's only going to be one day for that. You hear this? And that'll only be for those that are His. So if you're not His, on that one day that He going to take His back with Him, you ain't ever going. I don't want this to have it where you just, oh, what he's saying is hurting me. He's just putting me down. No, that's a shame. The devil wants you to believe you're being put down when you're being warned. Amen. And you hear this? God wants to save you. You hear this? And there's only one way for you to be saved. You must repent and believe the gospel. Repent and be baptized, every one of you, in the name of Jesus Christ for the remission of sins, and you shall receive the gift of the Holy Ghost. You hear this? God, preachers ain't just come on just going to tell you, you're on your way to hell. Every single one of you ain't, none of you got, you ain't. I'm just telling you, you're on your way to hell. Ain't nothing you can do about it. No. What you can do is believe and save yourself. You hear this? Believe and be baptized according of the Spirit. If you don't do that, and you die before that you save yourself, or God take the church before you save yourself, now you're on your way to hell, and there's nothing you're going to be able to do about it. You hear this? Save yourself before it's too late. So until next time, one, one, one. One way to God. There's one, one, one. There's one way to God. There's one, one, one. One way to God. TMR Camden, Philadelphia, a part of the Beasley Media Group. Do, 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 do.
And Assalamu alaikum. We are here on another edition of the Muhammad Speaks radio show. I am your host this evening here on WTMR Muhammad Speaks. I am your brother Kadir Muhammad coming from you live from Camden, New Jersey, here from Muhammad's Temple of Islam number 20. But before I go any further, I want to start off in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. I bear witness that there is no God but Allah who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, and I further bear witness that the most honorable Elijah Muhammad is his last and greatest messenger. I want to greet the radio land, those who are viewing live on Facebook or YouTube or social media or any type of device on your smartphone. Please tune in. I would like to greet you in the greeting words in peace and paradise of Assalamu alaikum, which that word means simply means peace be unto you. And I know that people hear that word a lot in this modern time and in this century. You know, it's not a password. No, it's not a secret word. It means just that peace. Peace to the righteous, peace to our community, peace to every human race that's here, that's on the planet Earth, and especially to you and I. To we who Arabic is somewhat of a strange language that we had lost here for over 400 years. So we wish you peace. Peace be upon you. And anytime you look at a Muslim or anytime you look at anyone who look like yourself, we wish you peace. So I want to start off by thanking Brother Minister Wasim Muhammad for allowing me the opportunity to come before the radio land. I know it's been a while, it's been a minute, it's been some time now that I've been on a radio show, that I've been here talking to the Muhammad Speaks audience or the WTMR family, those who tune in faithfully to hear what the Muslims have to say, or followers or students of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, to hear what we have to say, because we know that it's a lot of propaganda, it's a lot of confusion, it's a lot of distorted stuff that's being taught about the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. So here we coming to you. We coming to you live to clear up some things, or to have the art, the lively art of conversation and dialogue that we want to have with you, that we want to have with the community, and to show you that there is no divisiveness, there is no disunity among us, that we are your brothers, that we mean just that we mean that we are a brotherhood, that we mean that we are a sisterhood, that we are one ummah, or that we mean that we are one community under God. We really mean that. Here in the Nation of Islam at Muhammad's Temple of Islam number 20, in particular the followers of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and most of you, our work bear witness that we really actually mean that. Because some of you, y'all see the sacrifice that this community makes every day there on Hatton Avenue. And that's why I just stated earlier that I gotta give praise praise to our dear brother minister who works so hard. He works generously. He worked favorously. He works so hard. Not that I'm not. And many of you know that you're seeing me out in the community. That I'm not just being biased. Many of you can bear witness that our brother minister or brother minister Wasim Muhammad works hard. He labors hard. And for many of years that he's been in the city of Camden, of going to college and playing, you know, going on his journey and playing college basketball, or learning himself, learning the knowledge of himself. Many of you seen this upbringing of this brother. So to have that type of representation, to have that type of guidance coming from a brother, not just because I'm being biased because he's my father, but just based upon his administration here at Muhammad's Temple of Islam number 20, the guidance that he gives, the instructions that he gives, the inspiration and the motivation that he gives, not only just to his family, but to the community abroad, outside of the four walls of the temple and mosque. He gives guidance to us all, so take more of your time. I just want to thank the community too, there at Muhammad's Temple of Islam number 20, the laborers, the community who support our dear brother and who also help many of us here within our community, whether they down at the daycare center, whether they down at the University of Islam, and there's a lot of believers that you don't see that might be not out in the public or the forefront, but you see them inside the community. So I just want to take the time out and thank those who strive hard, um, who strive every day, who give their commitment to a program here in the city of Camden, so this program can be carried out. And I know that there's some naysayers that's out there because many people see that it's young brothers. No, no, we are a community, and you see young sisters. I mean, that is a good thing when you see young people following guidance or following a community and want to be morally correct or trying to strive to be morally correct. That is a good thing. Many of you see young women with brother minister, and many of us this maybe our wives, our wives, that we're striving to be upright, that we're striving to be a righteous community, trying to live up to our ability to be something of God's favor. So we thank the community, everybody, and before I go any further, I gotta thank the CROW, the Coalition of the Remembrance of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, because as we are following this leadership, as we are following this guidance, who's administrating this guidance, the Coalition of the Remembrance of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is so important in giving out the archives of the Nation of Islam, giving out the archives of the historical documents of information that we may need, you know, that we may need to suffice ourselves, to arm ourselves with truth. That is, and so we thank those brothers and sisters from the city of Chicago, uh, brother Jamil Muhammad, brother Mandeem Muhammad, and then I would like to thank the co-founders, the late and great brother Munir Muhammad, brother Halif Muhammad, and our dear brother Shaheed Muslim. Uh, that beautiful organization, that beautiful body of work that they have built, and for us to remember the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the coalition, the archives, a TV studio, a television program they have been doing for the past 36 years. Um, that is quite remarkable for an organization who's independent to be 36 years down the road. I know many of us can't come together and open up a candy stores, and our restaurants will be closed within 5 months within our community. So to see a black organization or organization in period, to be to have a program and to still have an engine going for 36 years, my dear brothers and sisters, that is quite remarkable. So I am your host this evening on the Muhammad Speaks Radio. I am your brother Kadir Muhammad, coming to you live from the city of Camden, from Muhammad's Temple of Islam, number 20. Um, I am your humble brother. I am a humble servant. Many of you who have been knowing me for all of my life here in the city of Camden, growing up in the Parkside neighborhood, going to school in the city of Camden, my upbringing being in Parkside, you know, in the public educational system, my upbringing, many of friends who I grew up with, who's dear friends of mine, they watching us grow, they watching me grow, they watching our community grow, and that's what we need here. We need more of us, or more like minds, who's young, who's have a lot of energy, who has a lot of charisma, who have a lot of bursts of energy, who wants to go do something, who has a desire to go and do something for self, who has a vision to go do something for self, and that's what we need, and that's the show and tell, and the wisdom that you see coming from Muhammad's Temple of Islam, number 20. It is the young people. When people see us, the brothers outside, standing outside, we give a burst of energy within our community, because they understand when you have brothers or a group of people who's striving, or who is an organization, and they still young brothers or young black men that's committed to an organization, or that's committed to anything, that gives a burst of energy and they give life to our community. They give life to our elders that's in our community. They give life to our women that's in our community. Because me and them may say, well, man, I want my boyfriend who's in my household, I want them to be like you. Wear a suit like you. Can you teach my son, or can you teach my grandson, or can you teach my boyfriend or my husband, how to wear a suit? Or is this something small like that? Gives a burst of energy to our community when they see the faces of a fresh face of these young brothers here at Muhammad's Temple of Islam number 20. So I want to thank uh, my father again for giving me the opportunity to come before Muhammad Speaks. Like I said, it's been quite some time since I've been on the show. It's been quite some time that I've been in public, speaking in public, and that is a great honor to be a student of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and to speak publicly to our community, to speak publicly to our people. That is a high honor. That is a high praise, and that is something that I don't take lightly. That is a position that I will love to grow in. That I will not take lightly. That is a post that I'm serious about, because talking about the problems or talking about things among us that's in our community it is important. And maybe you have a son that that's not mentally or mature enough, that's out there in our community, but they see me on, or they may see another young brother on, they may see brother Hadar, brother Hafiz, or brother Nafi, or brother Halim, or brother Wasi, or many other brother that is among us may come on Muhammad Speaks Radio. And so now that we on, you may turn on their radio show on WTMR on the 800 AM and say, hey, come here, young man, I need you to listen to this. There's a young brother who is around your age. There's a young sister who is around your age that's on the radio show, and they're talking with such beautiful wisdom. They're talking with such knowledge. They're firm, they're strong, their back is straight. You don't see them trying to be anything other than stuff that you see that's promoted outside in our community. You see this young brother fresh, clean shave, hair trim. It seems like he know a little something. I need for you just to listen just for one moment from out of your life, and there may be something that I may say, or there may be something that a young sister may say. They may intrigue you within your life, or they may give you a thought or something that you never even made a thought of, or there is something that you may be thinking about, but you didn't have an outlet to express yourself you know so this is the time you tune in. This is the time you call that young sister or young brother that's causing havoc outside in our community, or somebody, a young brother or a young sister that may not have that may not have a burst of vision, or a burst of energy, that they still trying to figure their life out. They being lazy, or they need some inspiration, they need some motivation. This is the time that you tune into the Muhammad Speaks radio show, because your brother Kadir Muhammad is speaking, and speaking live, and the wisdom that may come out of my mouth, or something that I may say that's not really popular amongst our community. Maybe I may say something maybe that person, he or she, may connect with. So at this time, we just gonna talk. We just gonna talk the lively art of conversation, and talking about the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. We just gonna talk about what's on my heart about the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, about things that's going on in our community, the message that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad has for us. So I may study, or I may observe, so I can do the best of my ability to give it to you. So I want to thank Brother Minister once again, who is a graceful leader in our community. Um, I don't mean to say that lightly. I mean that with a lot of strength. I mean that with a lot of power. Who is a leader in our community, um, who's not a sensational leader, somebody who just want to be in the limelight all the time and just lip profess and just talk. This is the brother who gets down on the ground and work his tail off, work hard. Even when he's sad, he works. Even when he's feeling down, he works. Even when he's up, he works. He may have $1,000 in his pocket. He works. He may have 0 cents in his pocket. He works. And within that work, I don't think many of you understand the impact that Brother Minister Wasim Muhammad makes on young people, man. That is a lot of power. That is a lot of strength the impact that he gives, and it's not just in speech. Many people see him park his car right there on Hatton Avenue, and may see him get out the car and sweep. In the morning time, as young people is going to school. As young people leaving from out of school, or a young black man may be leaving from work, or he may be going to work. They see Brother Minister out in the community. They see him loving himself. They see him loving his community every day of the hour, every minute of the hour. They see this brother on Hatton Avenue cleaning up his community. And this is a brother who has a plan. And many of us see that plan. Many of us is observing that plan. And to see and to know the impact that this brother is giving to our people. Many of us, see rappers and see many of our entertainers, and we see a lot of gurus on YouTube, and we see a lot of gurus on Instagram and Facebook talking about the economical problem within our community. You know, Brother Minister is doing the economic blueprint. He can talk about the economical blueprint. He can talk economics to our people because that is the life that he's giving us to. That is the life or the foundation or the reality that he's given us. Not about no reality of a fantasy of the stock market. You know, he ain't giving us no fantasy about some Instagram, how to make money on Instagram, which I'm not knocking because if you, as many ways, if you're not on the corner hustling or out there being wayward in your community, I'm right on with you, my dear brothers and sisters. But this is something that's real, reality. We need the love of self today. We need the image of a black man who's loving himself in our community, and they need to see that image and learn and know and learn how to express that image. And I know there's been a lot of distractions. There's a lot of distractions on social media. There's a lot of distractions. There's a lot of Pharaoh magicians, as the Bible teaches us about when it comes to Moses and Pharaoh. They do many of things that's not real, and they take a narrative, or they may take something and put it in our face, or they may take something and may put a little entertainment to it, so it could be a little, so we could be very entertained in our life when it comes to the hip hop, when it comes to R&B, when it comes to the movies or the actors and acting that you see in of today's society. We see a lot of distractions, but to know that there is a brother who's in our community, even with all the confusion and the distraction, there is a brother. There is a community who's working hard generously, who's working hard favorably, who's working hard doing trials and tribulations, and even with our own problems. Me and you who may have problems, maybe having a problem paying a bill, or maybe having a problem in our household, or whatever the case may be, what journey, what life may take us in, you know, we see the image of a black man, and that's what we are lacking today. And I know there's a lot of people who's working in and around our communities, um, that's working hard within our community that's not necessarily in the four walls of their church, mosque, or synagogue. There's a lot of people who's working really hard to see our community a great and decent place to live. So that was my opening. I know that was a long opening, but I just gotta say what's in my heart because of course I haven't been on the Muhammad Speaks radio show, quite in quite some time. But with the Elijah Muhammad, with the teachings poured into you, you have a lot to say. You have a lot of atoms rotating. You have a lot of things rotating in your mind. There's a lot of things, or chaotic things, or chaotic things that goes on in and around our community. But this is not the time for us to be quiet. This is the time to be strong, to be dignified, to be loud, and that people can hear the truth. Not just religiously, but people need to hear the truth about themselves. They need to clean up. They need to clean themselves up. They need to get up and pull their strings so they can go and do something for self. And whether you even in a corporation, or maybe you may be in a high class, in the middle class, or maybe in the rich class, or maybe even in a lower class. It's time for all of us to get up and pull the strings and pull our bootstraps together and work in our community, because it is we who going to make our community a safe and decent place to live. So without further ado, we're going to take a quick break. It feels good to be back on Muhammad Speaks Radio Show, because I have a lot to say. As a young black man here from the city of Camden, New Jersey. As you see, all the decadence and the chaotic things that you see of imagery, whether it's on TV, whether it could be Channel 6, Channel 3, CBS, NBC, with the image that they give on our news. But this is another news outlet that we can talk the narrative, or, or can have a different spin or a different narrative to speak truth to our people and to show that there is people working in our community. So without further ado, we're going to take a quick break, and I'll meet you on the other side. And we are back. Listening, being culturally and refined. Listen to the Frankie Mays. Listen to that. That beautiful song that I love, that I felt in love with. Being culturally induced, with some great music, not just rap, but you have many great cultural entertainers that's legends within our community. So, to let our people know that we're watching, we're listening, we're observing, we're learning. This is the culture that we need, because we just don't need just one culture of music, whether it's hip hop or whether it's the drill music, or whatever the case may be that's out there of foolishness. But listening to our brother who is from Philadelphia, that is, who is from the Delaware Valley, and who passed away recently. So happy feelings. And the reason why I chose that song on our break, because it's happy feelings. There's never a time you see a Muslim sad. There's never a time you see a Muslim in sorrow. You always see a Muslim, walking upright, standing upright, always smiling, always peaceful. He may be seem like he's in, he may be in deep thought. Many of you may seem like the brother is sad, but the brother is in deep thought, right? The brother is rotating, the brother is thinking, because that's what we need today. We need our people to think. We need a thinking brain. And so, music that we listen to, the images that we see, and the entertainment, all the distractions that we may have in our life. We need happy feelings, and especially in this day and time and in this hour, we know that we need happy feelings. We need, we need some type of, peaceful atmosphere that we see in and around our communities or in our society today, because we know we hear wars, we hear about wars, we hear about rumors of wars. We looking at the death rate within and around our community. But I would like to give a shout out as I say that. Something just came to mind here within the city of Camden, the leadership and administration here in the city of Camden. They're doing such a great job, um, in providing the leadership that we need, and starting that engine that we need in and around our community. Just like many people see the mayor clean campaign. That's happy feelings to know that our administration getting, tying their boots up, tying their straps up, and getting out in the field of endeavor and cleaning up our community. They're not just sitting down, at a desk, They just talking about the problem, just lit professing about the problem. They cleaning up out. They going out there and cleaning up. Every month. They getting out there, but we need more of that. And to see that, I mean, that is happy feelings. And to see the administration, he got young, old, women, men, all different type of genders, coming together and cleaning up our city, and that is meaningful, my dear brothers and sisters. Because I know many of you, when y'all go, when we go on vacation, we see we see paradise. But what about paradise in our community? What about the peace of mind and peace and contentment within our community? And this is the time as we come back, as I coming back from my break. I just want to talk about the Honorable Elijah Muhammad because many people don't know about the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and they don't know about the life-giving teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And these teachings can make you into a whole human being. And we have the historical evidence of it. You know, we have the evidence. We have the history of it. We see what it can do today. We know what it's doing today. So for us not to even know about or to even think about the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is quite blasphemy, my dear brothers and sisters. And as we are on a Christian radio station on WTMR, and for going on the past, I believe 15 years or 16 years or more, um, in this studio and talking about the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, to reacquaint you with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, to reacquaint the community with and to know about the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And it made me, think about that is when I was giving credit to the coalition of the members of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. For a man to have 44 years among us, who is a black man, who was a descendant of a slave, who had a third grade of education, and in the 44 years that he was among us and the work that he did in and around our community. And brothers and sisters, not just in one state, my dear brothers and sisters. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad had representation in 49 and 50 cities. you know, in 50 states. You know, he had Muhammad's temples in and around Georgia. He had Muhammad's temple in and around Jersey. He had Muhammad's temple in and around Florida. He had Muhammad's temple in and around everywhere. In Pennsylvania, in California, he had representation, or he had his imprint and his document of his wisdom everywhere. For us not to know about the accomplishments about the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, that he uh, uh, sojourn for us so we can have a blueprint and an environment that we of the script of the manuscript that you see students of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad echoing, or the program that we're trying to produce within our community. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad, who who had a school system in 47 or 49 of the states uh, in this country. You know, we talking about an independent school system, not just a school now that he just tried to get open. That you see so many of our people is trying to do. We talking about the educational system and the problems that we face in educating the young black child or young black and brown child in and around our community, and we know our educational system is falling, and we know that. But there's a lot of work that's going around with people doing great work, but we know that it has some challenges. But to not introduce to you the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, to see the wisdom of the same young black men or the same problems that we face, that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad gave us the solution of the program and how to educate the black child. You know, um, we see that you can give a brand new school within our community, but you're going to be faced with the same problems, right? You're going to be dealing with this same psychology in in our children, right? In and around our community. You're going to see the same, um, some of the same issues from town to town, in Philadelphia, in Delaware, in California. It's the same issue, my dear brothers and sisters. You know, whether you're in DC or Virginia or New Jersey or North Jersey, South, it's the same issues. And you can't just build a new school without the thought, without the brain first. So, without, giving that child or introducing him the culture of the knowledge itself. And this is what I want to introduce to you today is about the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the importance of him in our community. The importance as to why Brother Minister was elected to the formerly elected as a former board member here within in the city of Camden is what he was representing. It was the him being a chief administrator here at the University of Islam of operating a school, to give the representation, to give the examples or to give the details and to give the the wherewithal, the knowledge on how to help a young black child or help the household or to help the household that's within in and around our community and dealing with our parents, or dealing with mothers or dealing with fathers, how to nurture babies. Here it is, we have a daycare center and we can talk about the implementing of dealing with um, infancies, stages of early childhood development. So we can go every route. But the importance of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and why you should remember that man, because when you study him, you're studying yourself, you're studying your nature, you're studying your God-given abilities, you're studying your gifts, you're studying your likelihood of God, because we do believe that that man met with God in person. We do believe that that man met with Master Fraud Muhammad, you know, the long awaited Messiah of the Christians and the Mahdi of the Muslims. We believe that he left no stones unturned. He gave us everything that we need. And his body of work of his 44 years in our community bears witness as to why you need to listen to him. The Elijah Muhammad teaches us as we see the reality of what's coming down the pike. If you see it with this last presidential campaign of Donald Trump winning this last election, you can tell the narrative of the thought and the psychology of what the world is going to today. So what do that mean for you and I? What does that mean for you and I as a former slave who depend on America, who depend on our former enemies and our open enemies for everything, whether it's for food, clothing, and shelter? What do that mean for you and I? And to know that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad worked 44 years, who had a nation within a nation, my dear brothers and sisters, a nation. The Elijah Muhammad didn't care whether you called yourself a Christian. He gave you the meaning of Christianity. He gave you the root of Christianity. He told you you are our brothers by nature. Regardless of what belief, persuasion that you may believe in, you are still our brothers. But the Elijah Muhammad gave the root of where we come from. Not just the root that we all come from slavery. He went beyond that and gave you the root that we were that lost tribe, my dear brothers and sisters. So that's the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And when you give a child that type of knowledge, that type of historical perspective about his black self, when you go into these schools now and we dealing with the indoctrinated Christopher Columbus discovering America, what do you think that do to our black children and the self-esteem and dealing with young black and brown children? Come on, talk to me now. You know, you know, you know, talk to me. So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad not just only just had a school system, he had a farming industry. He had agriculture. We talking about the health and wellness. We talking about the mental health within and around our community. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad implemented a fast to our people, introduced our people what fasting is. Although fasting is nothing new, we know that it ain't nothing new, but it's new to our people. Imagine for 400 years we've been eating the slops of a decaying animal or of a poisonous animal, of the hog. So imagine the Elijah Muhammad introducing to us telling us to get off the hog, to get off the swine, to get off the liquor, to get off the, the tobacco, to get off the weed. How do you think he did that in cleaning us up? How do you think he did that, my dear brothers and sisters? He did that with a doctrine of fasting. He did that with a doctrine of knowledge itself. He did that with the doctrine of discipline. He did that with a doctrine of knowing yourself, of learning yourself, of having the discipline, how to respect authority, how to respect black authority, that is, how to respect yourself, how to be clean. Putting strong black male authority in front of our community. And many of you know that we need young, strong black role models because we know what this society is given to us as role models. I look, listen, my dear brothers and sisters, I love the hip hop community. I love them brothers to death, but they are not leaders in our community. They are not, because they given us destruction. They're confusing the masses of the people. Because if you talk about righteousness in one token, but you got weed in your hand the next, what do you think that image? What image do you think that's given to us? When we see that, when we walk through the community, we see needles on the ground. We see people smoking weed. We see a no good person or Negro smoking weed, or smoking tobacco, and and he's doing nothing. Um, Constructive within our community. What type of image you think that's given to us? And we sitting here talking about it in a rap song with drill music, with Little Dirt. About what's going on between the beats and entertainment. My dear brothers and sisters, we got a lot of work to do in changing the minds of our community. And as I stated earlier, that it's not about building a new school or a new infrastructure. It's about building the whole child. It's about building the whole man. It's about building up the whole woman. It's about building up families. It's about building up the structure of families. We need guidance when it comes to that. And Elijah Muhammad is the last messenger of Allah to give us that guidance. And the only thing we need to do is pick up our bootstraps and follow him, my dear brothers and sisters. And even if you may be hesitant of coming out to Muhammad's temple and learning more about him, or just even learning about the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, because you may see some propaganda, you may see some rhetoric out there that you may not understand. But my dear brothers and sisters, you got to take a look at his body of work and what he did in our community, in and around our community. And the body and work is not just within our community, it goes beyond. Here it is, the Elijah Muhammad was international. Here it is, the Elijah Muhammad did international trade. You know, he did international trade with Peru. This is a man with a third grade education. You know, so once again, this is the time and what must be done within our community. And this is the example why I am championing uh, my father, Brother Minister Wasim Muhammad, because everything that we see of the Elijah Muhammad economic blueprint, or the blueprint, or the style, or the grace that the Elijah Muhammad gave to us, the Brother Minister Wasim Muhammad, as a student of the Elijah Muhammad, is bringing it back, my dear brothers and sisters. He's kind of like Crow. Do you remember this man? Come in ranks, and even if you may not, even if you may not be a Muslim, you still are in ranks, because we are still one community. We're still a community, because I'm pretty sure that he has children that walk down the streets. We all have grandchildren, or sons or daughters, maybe even walking down the street. So we got to get active in our community to make it a safe and decent place to live. And how we do that is getting to the minds of our people, changing the psychology of our people. And we're not just talking about just strong arming our people. We talking about with strong wisdom and kind words. We talking about with the knowledge that we need today, with the information and being informed, so we won't go make crazy or disastrous decisions that we see so many of us making today. Because we see the results in our community. We see on what it's producing. We try everything else. As the Elijah Muhammad, after everything else fails, here comes Islam. And to know the life and the works of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, in our community, is something that we need today, my dear brothers and sisters. You know, so I ain't gonna take no more. of your time. We're going to take another quick break. And I know I've been saying a lot. I know I've been circling around a lot because, as I said, as I stated before, my dear brothers and sisters, this is something that's coming from the heart. I'm talking in dialogue and I'm talking with the art of conversation because things that we experience and things that we see in and around our community is certain things that we need to talk about. We need to clean up. It's something that we need to, have, private conversations about. Not just in public, but we need to get down on the ground and start conversating with our people, or whether it's representation or administration here in the city of Camden, or whether it's any type of organization, street organization, civic organization, any and everything. We need to have a conversation. We need to talk about what's going on in and around our community. We need to talk about the problems and provide a solution, to our people. A solution, that is, my dear brother, hold on, my dear brothers and sisters, my dear brothers and sisters. What we need today is a solution. And if you are an agitator, if you are not bringing to the solution, then you are a part of the problem. If every time we see you, in our community or in on social media, and you putting out other people's flaws, and you putting out and you going strong and hard, on our people, causing more distraction and more disunity, and we see you not providing a solution, then my dear brothers and sisters, you need to sit down, right? If we're not talking about a solution. Even if it's a solution, they say that you might have to erase. No, that's not going to work. No, this may work. As the Ambulance Muhammad teaches us that Islam is mathematics and mathematics is Islam. So as I get ready to take another break, we're going to take another break, and I greet you in peace. Assalamu alaikum.
Was arrested May 8, 1942 in Washington, D.C., was bonded on $5,000 bail money, which was brought to Washington by his wife, Sister Clara Muhammad. The messenger returned to Chicago. On the 18th of September, as the messenger was teaching the theology of time, he told the Muslims to expect some unfortunate events to happen affecting them, but to hold fast to Islam. On September 20th, 1942, the FBI agents arrived at the temple before the meeting and arrested approximately 100 men of the Fruit of Islam. The messenger was arrested at his home at 6026 South Vernon Avenue. Here was a peaceful man, sentenced and convicted along with his followers all over the country for not taking up arms. Serving in Milan, Michigan at the Federal Correction Prison along with his son Emmanuel and other of his followers, among them who were Brother Lester. Brother Labras, tell us, when did you first accept Islam? 1933. Brother Labras, tell us about the arrest incident of the Muslims in 1942 in Temple. September 20, 1942, 104 53rd Street. One Sunday morning, we went to a meeting, and the FBI had things broke in the door, and everyone came in, they arrested him and put them in jail. And we got sent by jury bond. We sent to Milan, Michigan, and then January 25th, 1945, we were released. What were you arrested for? Arrested for selective service. For not going to the army? Not going to the army. Life in the prison was with the messenger. The first 4 months in prison was rather hard on us because the prison authority didn't understand us. But after we were there for 4 months, then they began to understand us and began to relinquish some of their restrictions on us. We were able to move around in the prison freely without any hindrance. Now, the food in the prison wasn't good because we being Muslim, we could not eat any kind of food. Most of the food that was cooked there in prison was cooked with pork, and this is forbidden to be eaten by a Muslim. So our life there in prison was good after we were there for about 6 months. Then the things began to get better for us there. While I was in Milan, Michigan, the federal institution, I come to be one of the
Assalamu alaikum. We are back. And my dear brothers and sisters, and those who are tuning in for your first time, my name is Brother Kadir Muhammad from Muhammad's Temple of Islam, number 20 here in the city of Camden. And you are listening to the Muhammad Speaks Radio. And I just wanted to tell the community, I am your humble servant. I am a humble brother. Many of you know me being humble, being a young man that's to myself, who is a brother who always been educated, a brother who always been respectful, and this is the brother that you see today, and it's a result of my upbringing, of dealing with the parenting, and from that, you see me as a husband today. You see me as a person who's stepping up in and around our community, who's trying to give programs and provide an outlet for the young brothers and for the young sisters today in and around our community. And I've been given an opportunity to be this type of brother, or to be this type of student if it wasn't for the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I couldn't be a humble brother or a humble servant without the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Without the administration uh, of belonging to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I couldn't be with you. I couldn't be this humble brother or servant that many of you say that I am, without the teachings and without the administration and without the students of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. There's many brothers who had an impact on me, like Brother Munir Muhammad, like Brother Jamil Muhammad, like a Brother Mandine Muhammad, like a Brother Wali Baha, like Brother Minister Wasim Muhammad, like a Brother James X. Like it's so many of 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 impactful brothers with so much history that many of us need to be around, who have a stellar history that many of us need to know, and many of us not lacking the information. So to be around such information, to be blessed around such giants, I've been blessed in my life, to be around such other humble servants. And I'm not saying that we come up out of the sky now. We come up out of you know, um, the house in North America, that is. But to be around such imagery of black men is quite remarkable. Muslims, followers of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And from that, what you see today, you see this brother who's striving hard to be upright in my community. Many of you see today of the offering that I'm trying to give, of the offering of peace, or the offering something to our community, our program to our community. That, my dear brothers and sisters, it's not just me. We have a community of young brothers that's there that give off motivation, that give off inspiration. You see our brotherhood there working along in and around our community. And my dear brothers and sisters, we are your humble servants. So if you'd like to know more about the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, come listen, come visit us, come engage us, come talk with us. I know we seem like we gonna post and we got the strong face, the militant face, but my dear brothers and sisters, we are your brother and we are your sisters here in the city of Camden. So come visit us every Wednesday and Fridays at 8 p.m. and Sundays at 2 p.m. Come hear what we the Muslims have to say, what we believe in, what we teach. Don't just go based off of propaganda, or going on being a lazy learner, going on YouTube or going on Google. Come, come to the temple. Go to the place, because if many of us think about knowledge and information, we think about going to trade school, right? Many of us think about going to college, right? Right, but we'll pay big money and be in debt to go get the information that we can get ourselves. But come on down to 1157 Hatton Avenue and listen to what the Muslims have to say. If I say a good word, if I say anything captivating, or if I say something that might not seem right, or that something that might be, gravitating, or that might be pleasing to the eye, come down, please come, my dear brothers and sisters. We're not going to beg you now. That is, we ain't begging nobody, because that we establish ourselves. We ain't going to beg you to come. down to the temple. And that's why you see us here on WTMR, because if you're not going to come uh, uh, to Muhammad, we're going to bring Muhammad to you. That is, so we're definitely going to engage you, but we're breaking down the barriers. Um, the aura that that you could come and speak to us, that you could come and talk to us, because we are such that we are like that. We give off the aura of peace, and we hope that we pray to Allah that we give that type of aura of peace. And to our Christian brothers and sisters there that may be listening in and trying to understand uh, the language and what I'm speaking in or what I'm trying to say, my dear brothers and sisters, is only universal. We believe in Jesus, we believe in all the prophets of God, but just not what we've been taught for 400 years of slavery and bondage. Because what makes you think our brother or sister is not going to teach you right? What makes you think he's going to treat you right? If you're not going to treat you right, what makes you think he's not going? What makes you think he's going to teach you right? You right? So we here who trying to dispel darkness and earth truth and falsehood. It's not just a religious rhetoric. We really believe that we can change our community. If we come together with unity, if we break down the barriers of the self-hate that we have amongst each other, that every time we look at each other, we gotta look at each other like we're gonna rob each other. We gotta figure out what angle, what lane our brother or sister may be coming from. And my dear brothers and sisters, that's why we say peace be unto you. That's why we have the greetings of the righteous. We wish you peace. That's why we say assalamu alaikum. We hear a person might say wa alaikum salam. To to bring down that barrier of what you may think that goes on in and around our community, that a brother or a sister maybe try to manipulate you or line you up, or may try to lie to you, or may try to get over on you, or it could be anything. We know what we think inside our community. We know how when we come into the inner cities in America, the feeling that we get when we come to the cities, whether it's Newark, New Jersey, Philadelphia, North Philly, Camden, New Jersey. We know that my dear brothers and sisters, it goes without saying. We know the feeling that we get. So to see a young brother, to see us out there in a community on Hatton Avenue, come and engage us. Um, is that we brothers and sisters, brother minister Wasim Muhammad is a soldier, and he cleaned that neighborhood up. The community, Muhammad's Temple of Islam number 20, cleaned up the environment, clean up the atmosphere of that neighborhood. There's a lot of work to do now, but it is peaceful. It's not. And why do we make it peaceful? Because it's the psychology that we bring to our community. It's the mindset that we bring of peace to our community. And that's why we telling you to come on down to 1157 Hatton Avenue, because we can do this block by block. We could do this on every business district or every neighborhood if we just come together and break down those barriers of the self-hate that we have with one another. You know, and we can talk about the structure of families. We can talk about it. We can talk about the environment of family, because you see us in it. And I know, we ain't gonna go further because it's over with, but you see that the family values is there in within our community. You see young brothers getting married. You see brother Hadar, a married man. You see myself, a married man. And many of you of scripture and who's wise of scripture can teach us about husbandry, right? We learn about the definition and define to us of what a husband is, as we strive and we learn and get the information, because we don't know everything. So we have to be around such an environment to learn about what manhood is, and what greater way to follow the guidance or the instruction or the example of our dear brother minister Wasim Muhammad, right? He could give us the example of what a farmer is. He can give us the example what the worker of the soil is. Right? He can give the example what managing something well is. He can give the example what cultivating plants is. And he can break it down to us and define it for us and bring it down to the fine print of how we can turn it into a humanistic nature, and how we should treat our women, how we should treat our children, how we should act around our women, how we should act around our environment, our neighborhoods, our elders. That's the example. That's the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad that we can get, and that's the community. And we are about family, my dear brothers and sisters. And those who listening who are Christian brothers and sisters, and many of you know what I'm talking about in 1 Timothy, chapter 5, verse 8. I'm gonna say that again in 1 Timothy chapter 5, verse 8. It tells us, but if anyone does not provide for his own, and especially for those of his own household, he has denied the faith and is worse than an unbeliever. That's the Bible, my dear brothers and sisters. That's what we teaching. We teaching about manhood. We teaching about how not just how to be a leader inside your household. That's the best of things, but how to be a leader without in and around our community. That's the type of leadership that we get here at Muhammad's Temple of Islam number 20. So I am forever grateful for my upbringing, for the challenges that I may have faced in my life, that you see that many of you will get to know one day. That you see that striving brother, because we are humans. We all go through trials and tribulations, my dear brothers and sisters. If you thinking that we don't go through no trial or no tribulation, you're lying, my dear brothers and sisters, because we all try to be worthy and worthy of praise. And that's why we carry the name Muhammad. Muhammad means worthy of praise. And we try to be worthy of God's praise. We're trying to be that worthy servant in and around our community, to know that we are striving to do good every day in and around our community. So as we wind down, my dear brothers and sisters, I thank you for your time. I want to thank Brother Minister for allowing me an opportunity to come before the radio man, on the airwaves of social media, the airwaves of radio land, there's just the airwaves to talk publicly. I know it's been quite some minute, quite some time, but my dear brothers and sisters, I'm fired up now. I'm going to ask Brother Minister for another Tuesday, to captivate my thoughts, because I know, that's the example that we trying to see, because all leaders should be looking for replacements. They should be looking for their next brother minister, brother lieutenant, brother captain. And I like to say this in my closing: we ain't worried about other people's failures. We're not worried about those who fell tremendously before us, and those who talking in and around our community, because Islam didn't work for them, so they won't go around and play the blame game. My dear brothers and sisters, old chicks for kids, and we wise enough. We're around the wise. We are around some wise men, and I want to thank Brother Minister. I want to thank the community. I want to thank the believers, the followers and students of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, as I came to you in the green words and peace and paradise of Assalamu alaikum.